Well, it's the first Saturday of the month, and we have a brand new fabulous folded car set of dies. This is called the Expanding Tower. And let me show you what this looks like. This is the finished card that you can see, and you can see why it's called the Expanding Tower with that front and top and bottom. And it will fold flat to go into an envelope, and it will pop up just like this. And I'm going to have lots of ideas to share with you. Won't you please come play with us? Okay, as I said, this is Fabulous Folded. Now let me show you. This is the package that the dies come in. And as always with Fabulous Folded, there is text to tell you how to do it, and there are also illustrations. And there are 4 dies. This is the base, and you cut one of those. These pieces, you're going to cut 2 of each one. And let me show you. So here is the base, and it is scored, and you do fold these in valley fold. So let me just set that there. And then you're going to cut each of these twice, and we did these in different colors. So there's the tall one, and here is the next one, and here is the shorter one. Okay. And then you will also cut 3 pieces of acetate. These are 1.5 inches by 6. And extra sticky tape is going to be helpful for this, because that's going to really secure them, because this is a movable card, as many of our Fabulous Folded are. And we're going to start with the smaller one, and they are scored in 2 places on each end, and so these are all going to be in mountain folds. And you're going to put the extra sticky tape on the outside edge and going to fold those, and they're going to get placed, and we're going to get in close so hopefully you can see this. So that 1.5 inches is here, and it is here. So we're going to fold these ends back. We're going to remove the extra sticky tape, and I'm just going to remove one side and just going to place that along the end so that it is placed like so. Okay? Just like that. We're going to do that at the top, and we're going to do it at the bottom. So extra sticky tape on the outside. I'm just removing one of them and just laying it like so, so that it is lined up with those score lines. Okay? Now, then you're going to take the next size and do the same thing. Going to, well, let's see, I guess I placed it on the red, that's okay. And do the same thing. Have those score lines, all of them are in mountain folds, and going to place it over the one that I just did. Now this isn't going to work perfectly because, of course, I'm not taking the time to attach this on both sides, because we do have the pieces that are finished. And what happens is this just lays right across the first one. So you can you see how that is? Right. And the same thing with the first one. Take the extra sticky tape off and place this just next to it. It's just no big deal. And when these are flat, like I am doing here, you can see how it's just positioned perfectly. Now the third one, same deal. Going to fold it back, this last one, and then these 2, this is the center 1.5 inch area. And the only reason why I'm folding that is just to present it to you so you can see it. So I'm going to flatten it out again. I'm going to remove the extra sticky tape. If you ever have trouble removing the extra sticky tape, I just use my fingernails, but you can just press down hard. That doesn't seem reasonable that it would make it easier to remove the extra sticky tape, but it does. I can't tell you why. I'm sure there's a scientific reason, but it does make it easier to remove it. So I'm just placing this on the outside And so we have the 3 of them. You can see there's the small one, the medium one, and the large one all next to each other. Same thing on the bottom. That will happen. And very often the liner is kind of attached to you because of the static electricity. So that's what's going to happen now. Something I didn't tell you as we were doing that, and probably is good that I didn't attach both of them, is that these pieces, the acetate with the extra sticky tape on it, is going to get attached in this center area. So I'm going to fold these back, and I should have attached these as I went along, but I'm going to lift off the acetate. Again, I'm just going to do this at one end for now. And I'm going to place it at the top of my center area. So I'm just going to place it there. Okay. Then on this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to place it on top of that. And there we go. And this is going to be the place where you're going to be able to attach other elements, okay? So I'm just going to set that there. And then for this one, it kind of depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to cover this with something, you could attach this on top. But most of the time, you may not have something here. So just again, depending on what you're going to do, you may want to attach it on the back. So that's what I'm going to do at this moment. So I'm just going to lift this off, which is what I've been doing each time. And I'm going to attach it to the back of the strip. And there. So I will place that there. So when I'm done, I have all of my pieces attached at the top and at the bottom so that my card, and I'll use my finished card as the example, again, is attached, as you can see, at the top and at the bottom. And my acetate is what is attached at each of those pieces. So my small, my medium, and my large. And I think you can kind of see how those edges are at each end too. So they're just kind of just next to each other. And that's what we did. So let's see. Let me show you. There you go. You can really see that right there with the different colors. The same thing would be true here if I had attached them. And as I said, the acetate is in the center. Now, you don't need to have acetate on all of the pieces, just that center area, because the center area is actually, well, you can actually see it right here. Like that happy birthday, it is attached to the acetate and it extends out. The little turtle is attached to the acetate, but it also hangs out. Same thing with the seaweed. It's coming up and it goes onto the acetate, but also to the front of the card. Same thing right here. That is attached to the acetate, but you can see how it's going. Now, the acetate here is attached to the back of that center, that long piece, and that works just perfectly. And you wouldn't have wanted it attached to the front because it's not going to get covered up because the pieces are not long enough to cover it up, okay? The other thing I wanted to show you with this example, now this is the one that's on the package, and it is using, so let me show you. This comes from the Sea Life stained glass, and this is a 6x6. And what Debbie did is that she used the back of this sheet, and isn't that gorgeous? And that is what she used to cut her backing piece, this piece. Now, because it has this on the back of it, which she didn't want to be the back of her of her card. So she used the Sea Life stained glass solid cardstock. So she cut a piece of that and just glued the two together, and that worked perfectly well. Now, for her all of these pieces that came out of the Sea Life stained glass cutting dies. So you can see the turtle and all of the coral. It's right here, and that's what she used down in this area. Obviously, she cut that out of the solid cardstock. These two pieces, To My Friend and Happy Birthday, that came out of the Sea Life stained glass die cuts, and they're right here. This is, let's see, Happy Birthday is right here, To My Friend. And you can see that they're nice rectangles, and they just fit quite nicely. The that jellyfish that's right there, that is also a die cut, and that piece just fits quite nicely on the acetate. And so that is right there. And the acetate that we sell is a sheet that's 8.5 by 11. Now I have a Post-it note on it, and I keep that on there so I can find it, quite frankly. And so you can see you're going to get a lot of 1.5 inch by 6 inch pieces out of one sheet. So that works nicely. And so that's going to really just take care of your tower card just beautifully. Isn't that fun? Okay, now let me get these pieces set aside, and let me get you some more ideas, because there are so many ways that you can use this. In fact, here is one very trendy for this season, and this is using, obviously, our pumpkins, and it is coming out of our, which we just released, plaids and pumpkins. So a very far cry from our Sea Life, wouldn't you say? But as you can see, there's some fun things going on. So our Thankful and Blessed, let's see, whoops, okay. There we go, just gonna pop that out. Now, by the way, this is 4.5 inches by 6 inches. It is going to fit perfectly into our 10 envelopes package. So there you go. You can see how that, it's going to flatten to fit into the envelope, and then it's going to pop up just like so. And you can have some fun with how things are happening in here. Now, in this particular case, Debbie has used the 6 by 6 plaids and pumpkins. Let me show you the sheet that she used. Now, this is the sheet that she used. Now, you can see the plaids in the background. You can see all of the sunflowers growing up, and she covered up that absolutely charming scarecrow, but it is covered up. But it's covered up with pumpkins and the sunflowers that come from the cutting dies. So I guess, okay, well, she did do that. But there is a scarecrow in the back, and that comes from, so she took this as part of the cutouts. So this one, again, out of the 6 by 6, and the scarecrow is right here. It's part of the cutouts from the same package, and it says laugh and enjoy each day. So there he is, and he was just foam taped on top and attached to the acetate in the back. And look at those pumpkins and the sunflowers. And again, they were all done out of the solid pumpkins, plaids and pumpkins, solid cardstock, and isn't it just gorgeous? And they're just growing up there. Now, the back of this sheet, let me get back to the sheet that she used, has the plaids, and isn't that perfect on the back of her sheet? And she did cut some strips of the other papers from the collection to go in the back, and You Are Loved is up there. And don't you like, well, I love how these are just trailing out. And those pumpkins out of the new thin cuts dies, you can see all of those cuts that are trimmed into the cutting dies, just makes them look so much more realistic and beautiful. And that's what's going on. So there you go. Oh, the Thankful and Blessed, that's the die cut. And let's see, here it is. It's out of the 31 die cuts that is part of another package of the plaids and pumpkins. So there you go. Everything matches, everything works together as you would expect because they all share a title that works together. So that is our second idea. You like it? Yes, I do too. Okay, we've got more. Got two more, actually. This one, well, what Debbie did is she turned it on its side, and I think that's just quite brilliant. So in this case, our card is going to pop up like this. Now that's fun, and I like this piece down at the bottom where she has taken a very narrow border and attached it there. So happy birthday. She's got a bicycle on that strip. Today is your day. Now this is coming from the Tulip Parade. 6x6 is what she's using. And this is the piece that she used on that backing piece. So you can see the truck, and it's going to that little stand of tulips. This is called Tulip Parade after all, right? Got it? Okay. And so that has been done. And you can see the pieces that were cut for the those three pieces. And those were cut out of this piece, but the back of it. So you can see those little pieces right there. That's those. And the back of this is also the back of this. So you can see that that's working. But the front of it is very effective down below with that truck. Okay. The acetate is holding several things. Let's see. It is holding the, well, first of all, that bicycle. Bicycle is part of the cutting dies. And she used the solid cardstock, but she also, you see the silver handles and the spokes? She went over her solid cardstock with the silver pen that we have. This is Deco Color. It is a fine tip pen, and you can just trace over the paper and you'll get that sparkly silver finish. So that's really fun. And then she also has this pail with her tulips in it that was die cut using the cutting dies, the Tulip Parade. And let's see, the happy birthday and today is your day. Well, that comes out of the Tulip Parade die cuts. And let's see, here is the happy birthday right there. And today is your day is right there. And you can see that's in the back. This is sitting on one of the acetates, as is the bicycle. So that works nicely. This little circular tulip, that's right here. That's been foam taped onto the top. Oh, and that circle, excuse me, that border, can you see it right here? Well, that's been placed right there. And it's just been attached to each side. Very fun. And then on the back, you could, that's where you write your message. And again, it's just going to fold flat and it's going to pop up when you open up the envelope. Very fun. Very fun. Okay, so we've got some 3D ways that you can use this to make your expanding tower, but what else can you do? Hey, look at this. Okay, here is a card. With you, it's a grand adventure. That's a fun thing to get, but look, when I open this up, it's almost like we've got a tunnel inside. Look at that. Okay, well, let me show you what Debbie has used. So this is our 5 by 6.5 inch card. And she has used a set of papers. This is called At the Lake. And they are 6 by 6. And this is the sheet that she used on the front. So we have a little critter right there. And you can see how this was glued to the front of the card. So you've got that scenery. And she has also used these die cuts. So you can see all through all of these, she's used the 6 by 6 papers, the solids, she's used the die cuts because they all coordinate. So that works nicely. And on this one, on the inside, she used the same paper. Now you get 4 of each one. So in this case, our little box is not used, but this mountain scene is used in the center area. And then this kind of ghosted area, well, that's the back side of this. Okay, so it's right there and right there. And then, you know, that wasn't true. It's the other paper that's right next to it, the back side of that. Okay, so the back side of this, but the front side of this is in the center. Then she's got her tower, and it's right into the center of the card, which is very, very clever. And the acetate pieces, Lakeside with You, that's out of the die cuts. And then look at all of this. Well, all of those pieces are from the chipboard. Now, we haven't talked about the chipboard, but look what you have. There's 11 pieces. You've got this mountain scene with all of these trees right here. You've got the water. You even have a little boat. You have the deer. Isn't that gorgeous? And you have our fox again. Can you see him? We're going to get in closer. Let's get in closer to see him. Oh, yes. You kind of see him through a mist because of the acetate, don't you? Oh, and up here we've got some pine boughs. And then, just to finish this off, we have some dazzles. Now, these are called Winter Wonderland. And look at that beautiful tree. Well, that's been placed over here. How gorgeous is that? There's another tree. And then we have some pine cones right there. We also have down at the bottom, so this is right off of the dazzles, just placed right along that bottom piece. And some edging. Now that edging is from the border dazzles that are in brown. So you can see them there on each side of that piece of paper and right here. Wow. Always Thinking of You, that's out of the die cuts. How neat is that? Okay, does that give you lots of ideas, people? I would think it does. So you're just going to take the those pieces, those 3 pieces, put them on the inside of your card with the acetate pieces. You're going to attach them just like you would have in the you know, the piece that you did, the first piece that you cut, just exactly the same way. You see that? Right here, and right here. It's just attached to the card. How neat, top and bottom. How clever is that? Wow. And it's just going to fit perfectly. Look at that, how fun, how fun. What a good idea. Well, thank you. That's why we give you actually 4 ideas. You get 1 when you get your dies, your set of dies, and then you get 3 more ideas for the webisode. That's a good deal. How fun. You always do want to have some extra sticky tape and a bone folder, those 2 pieces and the 10 envelopes, because that's just going to make the whole thing a lot easier. Okay. We do have a money saver. The money saver has the expanding tower card and 2 sheets of acetate, because you need the acetate anytime you're going to make this, so that's going to be handy. We also have a subscription. The subscription is to our fabulous folded dies. Now, every month we come out with a brand new one, and every month it is different. And the deal is that you will get this before the webisode. Now, because when you get this, you will have an idea, because it comes on the package. So the moment this arrives at your doorstep, not only do you have the dies, but you have an idea for how to use them. And when we have the webisode, you will have already received the free goodie. The free goodie is part of the money saver. So those who have this subscription this month have their 2 sheets of acetate. They have this cutting die set, and you're set to go. So right now you have 3 more ideas, right? If you would like to have a subscription, you will see this on the right side of the screen, and you can get ready for next month's subscription. So if you would like to do this, we invite you to do that. Right-hand side of the subscription, you can see all of these cards down below, and Debbie has listed all of the products that she used in making them. So that's nice to have, just so that you can see what's going on. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, we'd love it if you would like us, subscribe to the YouTube, but head on over to Paper Wishes, because that's the only place on the planet that you can get the fabulous folded dies, and the only place that you can get the subscription. Now, you don't have to have the subscription in order to buy these. It just makes it easier. Oh, and by the way, you save an additional 10% off. So that's another reason to get the subscription. So we invite you to join us with us. I do want to thank Debbie for, as always, doing an absolutely brilliant job of designing and coming up with extra ways to use them. You know, I don't know that I would ever thought of turning this die on its side in order to make this work, let alone putting it inside a card and making it work like this. I think that's just pretty clever. I'm going to try that too. Okay, I want to thank you most of all for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Okay, I'll see you again. Bye-bye.